Helen.
Hi, Megan. How are you? By the way, you have great hair.
Okay, Helen. It's a video. She's not really there.
Okay, my bad.
It's a video question. Helen, how many drinks did you have before the show? Hey everybody, and welcome to a very special Big Brother 19 spoilers show with Helen from BB15. Now, look, if you guys want to see any of our shows back, you can check them all out over at yourrealityrecaps.com/BB19. You can read our blogs there, our spoiler blogs, the recap blogs. You can get the spoiler graphics there if you just want to see quickly what the current status of the house is. Watch our past shows with other house guests. Flashback times are over there. Everything is on our website at yourrealityrecaps.com/BB19. Now, I think you guys already know, if you don't have the feeds, get them from us over at yourrealityrecaps.com/BB19. Or you can get 24/7 live feed updates over on Twitter at BB19 live feed. We are covering it for you 24/7, what is going on in the house over on Twitter, so make sure that you follow them. If you want direct access to the flashback times, they're over at yourrealityrecaps.com/BB19 flashbacks. And we're doing this show live on YouNow, but you're probably watching it back on the website. So if you want to see us do them live, participate in the chat room, head over to yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow and fan us over there. Lastly, if you guys love shows like this, are so excited that Helen is on, we can't do them without your support. We have no plan to do shows past BB19 without your support. So consider becoming a patron at yourrealityrecaps.com/patron. You get access to the patron-only Facebook group where we talk about stuff that we can't talk about publicly. You get weekly patron-only shows, prize giveaways, and this season, when the guests are on, right here on YouNow, when the show's over, we go live from the patron group for a patron after show. So it's like one-on-one time with you guys and the house guests just for our patrons. But you guys doing that is what allows us to do shows. Of course, for those asking, you can also do a one-time donation over at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal. Those are the best ways to financially help support our shows so we can keep bringing them to you. Other great free ways to support our shows are, if you're watching in YouTube, thumbs up and subscribe. If you're listening in iTunes, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. Follow us on social media, share our shows, tell your friends about them. Go tell 3 friends how much you like the shows. Get them hooked. That's another great free way to help support our shows. But free and hugs and kisses don't pay the bill. So I hope you guys are ready for this show, because it is going to be amazing. Let's just jump right into it. Here's Helen!
Hi! Gosh, I really hope I live up to your expectations, because it's been a while since I've been on your show.
Helen, you are with me every morning when I wake up. Helen is the best part of waking up. With
better hair back when I was on the show than I do now.
Well, I have to say, if you are over 21, Helen and I are drinking responsibly, although apparently I poured a lot more.
Whoa, you're cheating. You showed me what you had, and I poured a comparable amount, and you added more, so I'm just going to have to add more now.
Okay, you can add some more, Helen.
And all of you guys that are watching, please, whatever your drink of choice is, please join us. Let's have a little bit of a cocktail party here.
If you're 21 or over.
And if you're not, then you can drink a Coke or drink a Pepsi or whatever floats your boat, right?
Right. And any complaints that you have about that, you can send to @ComedyJonah on Twitter, John Richardson.
And I hope, John, you're on, because I actually asked Eric if you would be, like, part of our little event tonight, and he said you'd be in the chat room. So if you're not in the chat room, I'm disappointed, and you better get your butt on ASAP.
He will. He will. Helen, I have to ask you, before we get into everyone's questions, before we hear what you're thinking of this season, I have to ask the number one question that we get for you.
No.
Oh my God, Helen! You stole the question!
No, here's the thing about the one thing I think my biggest regret is over watching every season and so forth is I just, when I think about the comps, I'm like, I could have done better. I should have been on those comps till my fingers were falling off and I was bleeding. It just gets to a point you're in these comps and you're like, well, do I really need to win this one? But the ones you need to win, like, bleed to death if you have to win them. That's kind of, and I think about that comp where people say I was pushed. And I probably could have lasted longer. My shoes kept slipping and whatever excuses you want to make. But, I remember Alyssa fell off, if you remember, and like did a yoga move and like somehow got herself back on.
Right.
And somehow like some of the girls did this season falling off of one of the, I think it was a veto comp, like fire into the fire pit. They like literally fell off the beam and came back on.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do in this game.
That is what you have to do in this game. But Helen, I think you did great in comps. I wouldn't say, sure. I'm sure everybody would say they wish they could do better than they did looking back now. But I wouldn't say you were horrible in comps.
I think I was pretty horrible at comps.
Do you?
Looking back, I could have done better. And like, I think I was hoping for more mental comps or more, puzzles, and ultimately when it came down to it, you just have to look at every comp and go, I can do this comp, and even if I have to bleed to death or break an arm or break a leg or break a toe, that's the mentality you got to go into these comps with.
Well, Helen, here's what I want to say. Since we're talking about your season, first I want to let everybody know, since we're live right now and to make sure you guys share the show. Share it, square, megaphone, up arrow, share it out, become a fan so you're notified when we go live, and you can tweet us your questions using hashtag YRRLive. Now, since we are talking about your season for a second, I'm going to edit this into the edited show later. However, I have a question from a huge Helen fan that you just...
There's a Helen fan out there?
Helen, there's hundreds of Helen fans in the chat room right now.
You guys are really kind.
Well, I have a question from a Helen fan for you right now that you might recognize. So here you go.
We're going to...
Oh, wait, hold on. Start again.
Hi, Megan. How are you? By the way, you have great hair.
Okay, Helen. It's a video. She's not really there.
Okay, my bad.
It's a video question. Helen, how many drinks did you have before the show?
Like I told you earlier, I had a long night last night, and it's kind of going into today.
Okay, so here's your video question. Ready? Here you go.
Hey, Helen. I just wanted to ask, you had a difficult time choosing between Andy and Gina Marie for your final vote. What was your final deciding factor on who you were going to choose?
So what was your final deciding factor on who you were going to choose between Andy and Gina Marie? And yes, like you said, that was Megan from this season, who was a huge fan of yours.
Well, I gotta say, I don't care how people get to the end, no matter how you get to the end. And people are going to say, oh, he wasn't a good winner, he didn't deserve to win, or she didn't deserve to win. Like, some people think Paul should have beat Nicole. I don't care. You get to the end and you get the votes, you definitely deserve to win. There's no rhyme or reason. Ultimately, the jury gets to decide. And depending upon who those last 7 to 9 people are, you hope that they're people who like you more than the other. With Gina Marie, I love Gina Marie. It wasn't a matter of friendship or anything like that. And I was friends with both of them. It was more, Andy fooled me. He fooled Amanda. He fooled a lot of people. And again, you can call it what it is. I think he played a really good game, and I know there are a lot of people out there who think he doesn't, but you haven't played this game, and he played a really good game. So I watched this season, and one of the things he did well was he was kind of in the middle between kind of the two sides of the house. And really, my look in perspective of the house was there was like the Jeremy Aaron side, and then there was all of us. But really, the two sides were the Amanda McCrae side and like the Alyssa, my side. And Andy did a really good job. He was friends with both sides of the house, which allowed him to go very far in the game. And then you get to a point where he's very good at competitions too. Let's not forget, he won a lot of physical and mental competition. So when you need to win, he was able to win. I mean, so was Gina Marie, but when it came down to it, I thought he fooled me more than Gina Marie did, I guess. But Gina Marie played a good game too. She made it to the end. A lot of people didn't give her the credit that she deserved. And, you know, I'm a big fan of Gina Marie. She's, you know, over the last couple of years, you know, the one thing I always say about Gina Marie is Gina Marie. Like, she doesn't fake who she is. She's not, you know, trying to be someone she's not. And in this world, and when we're talking about people who've been on TV, who want to continue to be on TV, and kind of the whole starstruck thing, Gina Marie is who she is, and she is not fake.
Right.
Whether you like it or not. And that I have mad respect for. So
we love Andy, we love Gina Marie, we loved you on your season, Helen.
Thank you.
But we want to know what you think of some people this season.
You know, gosh, you know, so Eric knows I don't do interviews. I don't, like, I'm barely on Twitter now. Like, if anything, I'm on Twitter about other stuff. I rarely do Big Brother Twitter anymore. I love the show, but it's just one of those things, like, I've moved on. However, I'm watching this season because I am a fan, and it reminds me so much of our season.
Why is that?
So much. The way the house is divided so early. I think Robin Cass, credit to her, she's got some really good competitors and competition beasts, and any one of them, I mean, there's so many folks who can win any given competition, and there's so many strong folks on this season that I gotta say, this is a really good cast, and it just reminds me a lot of our season and how the house is so divided, and like literally people hate each other already.
Right.
Like, I love that, you know?
Well, I'm gonna quickly, we don't need to spend a long time on all of them, but I know people want to know what you think about the people. So let's start with Jason, Whistlenut, Rodeo Clown, Cowboy. What are your thoughts on Whistlenut?
So Jason, you know when you meet someone like in person, you know if you're gonna click with them or not. So like definitely someone, had I been, like, say I was in a house this season, he'd be my friend.
Right.
Alex would be my friend. You can already see like who you would align with just based on personalities and friendship. Right. But I also really like Cody. I think there's I give him a lot of respect. Anyone who's ever been in the military, let's just call it what it is. You've served your country. You know, going through the military is not something everyone can do. Right. And you build up a strength that probably, I don't even know what that's like. And so I really love how they've put not just Megan, but Cody, people who've been in the military into the game, because that's a really interesting facet that they haven't done in the past, at least that I'm aware of, or to my recent knowledge. And, you know, Cody's someone, he seems very hard to get to know. Right. But I thought it was really interesting how he reached out to Alex to try to be friends with her. The two of them, if they could have figured out to hide their friendship and play both sides of the house, that really could have worked really well. But, you know, Alex didn't take the bait, and it is what it is. I hope maybe when he comes back, maybe there'll be an opportunity for them to do that, because really two of them could like really bamboozle everybody. Okay, so chat room, hold on. Helen, important question. I know you are very busy businesswoman, mom, so I know you're watching the show. Perhaps maybe you don't have a chance to watch the live feeds, right? So I've subscribed to the live feeds. Okay. A lot of time. If I watch any of them, it's like 5 minutes and then I move on. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't sit there for hours. I have 4 children now. I know. Time job, like a career job. It's not like, you know, normal working hours. Plus I travel a lot for work. Plus I am a wife. Plus I have a life. You know, I have friends and people who, you know, I try to see and do things with. So I don't sit there on my computer all day long.
Right. So keep that in mind, everyone. Helen has not really been watching the live feeds, and her opinion of Cody is based on the show.
Well, I mean, I read all, you know, when I'm like in line at the grocery store, like I'll read kind of updates on what's happening. And I realize that there are a lot of people who are not fans of Cody, but he's a competitor, you know, whether or not you like it or not. And I'm not grading people on their personality. I don't know what Cody's like in real life. And you can't, to be honest with you, if you try to pinpoint what someone's like in the Big Brother house, you're not giving them the benefit of the doubt, because the Big Brother house skews your personality, skews things that you say, and when you come out, like, you're your real person. And I think a lot of you fans out there have seen this, where you may have hated someone in the house, and then they come out and you're like, they're a lovely person once you kind of see what they're like in real life. And so, you know, just be really wary of what you think of Cody right now. He's playing a game, and you've not been in the Big Brother house to know what the stress level is like and what it's like. You think you know because you watch live feeds and you think you're an expert, but until you play the game, you don't know. And when it comes down to it, even people who I didn't like in the house in real life, they're great people in real life. So
okay.
And there are people who you might actually like on the show who are not great people in real life.
Oh, I hear you. Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
You know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Okay.
I want to move on from Cody. I want to move over to Josh. What are your thoughts on Josh?
He has no self-awareness.
Right.
Like, just doesn't know, like, he's skewed in his perception of himself and the world. And you know what? There are people out there in the world that, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he can't see that, or, you know, or she can't see that about themselves. You know, he's one of those people. I think he makes for great TV. Is he gonna make it to the end? Gosh, no. But you never know. Maybe someone like him, someone's like, I can easily beat that guy at the end. Maybe I will take him far in the game, because, you know, they're always going to want to boot him because he's just always putting a target on himself. So,
right.
You know.
Karen from Big Brother Canada.
Thank God Big Brother Canada is going to have a season 6, because that's amazing, and it should. And I can't even believe they even thought about taking it off the air. Like, shame on them.
Crazy. She says you got Josh pegged.
Yeah.
You got Josh pegged.
I mean, you can imagine that guy in the house, right? He's pure entertainment, and you're just waiting for him to call the house meeting. You're waiting him to blow up. I mean, the fact that Mark threw the drink on Josh, like, I was actually surprised he didn't even react worse than that. I mean, he had a reaction, but I was expecting him to, like, start punching walls in the backyard and, like, literally flipping chairs over. I was surprised he didn't. You know, something about Josh, too, and something I've learned about past Big Brother players, people go on the show and they've got this kind of crazy personality. And yes, he's not self-aware, but I bet you in real life, he's probably very close to his family and very close to his friends. And there are a few people who really know kind of the inside good of Josh. And so there's probably something of Josh that makes him really endearing. We just haven't gotten a chance to see it yet.
He is like, he always on the live feed is always talking to his family, saying how much he
You know what I mean? Like, I think with certain people, he is probably like the most wonderful guy. And then he gets into this situation where he doesn't really know people, and he's not self-aware, and he doesn't have I don't know how the best way to say it, relate to people that are not in his, like, inner circle, and that social gift is not there, I guess.
Right.
I don't know better to explain it.
All right. I want to talk about somebody who I know that you love. It's not fall or Halloween. It's Christmas. What are your thoughts on Christmas?
So, you know, I saw people tweeting at me, Christmas, thank you, Christmas, for saying such nice things about me. Of course, I mean, Christmas is established and successful in her own right. So I'm always going to like root for people who have a life outside of Big Brother, who are, you know, people who are passionate about what they do. And so she obviously has been very successful in her life and has accomplished things. And I've never written a book. I mean, I don't think anyone ever wants to read anything I ever write. So God bless her. You know, I really was hoping she, you know, it's unfortunate she got hurt. I know a lot of people feel like she should leave the game. I don't. I feel like you get one chance to get cast on Big Brother. Stay in as long as you possibly can. Even if you can't do the comps. You know, comps aren't all the way reasons why. And I see your look, Eric. You're like...
Oh, I'm going to tell you how I feel. Go ahead.
Yeah, I actually am glad she stayed in the game. And, you know, ultimately it comes down to it. There's going to be someone who's going to say, hey, if I take Christmas all the way, she's not going to be able to, in the final 3, win that final HOH. I doubt she'll win the POV, because the POV, you know, in that final 3 is like
physical,
using every limb you possibly can. There's something to be said about that. And so ultimately, if she makes it to the end, if you've won a few comps and been able to beat HOH, you can make a case of why you could take a Christmas and beat her. So if she could position herself in a way where people want to take her because they can know they can, at least in the comps, there's 3 of you competing in the final HOH. Really, you're really against someone else because she's hurt.
Right.
You know, that's a case to be made, and she could go far in the game. Now, if you're Christmas, that's your strategy. But ultimately, when you get down to the final argument in the final 2 on finale night, you're explaining why, you know, you deserve to be there. So hopefully she still wins an HOH on a mental comp or something.
Right.
But I give her props for still being there, and I don't think she should leave the game. And I know a lot of people are probably booing me for saying that. But if you get cast on Big Brother, you don't know what the casting process is like. It's so competitive. It's very challenging, and you're not going to give that up. And if you're evicted the next week, you're evicted the next week. But don't leave just because you're hurt. Gina Maria broke a bone when she was in our season, and she made the final 2. You know, not her foot, but still, you know, where, like, you know, Christmas's, you know, issues are going to be more severe. But I don't know. I think Christmas should use now her liability of not being able to play physical comps to her advantage.
I definitely agree that it can be twisted either way you want it. I only think of the fairness to the other house guests, like as we saw this week. Like, she gets picked for a POV and then finds out after the fact that she can't play in it.
There's nothing fair about this game.
I know, that's true. It's true.
The game has no rules.
I know.
There's no etiquette. There's no. She gets POV, she can't play, she can't play.
I know.
If you're in her alliance, that's just tough luck.
So you would have been fine with that if it was... No, you would have worked away.
Annoyed, but again, eventually they can vote her out if they don't want to, like, you know, have her come along with them. But again, I'd be thinking, well, if I need the numbers, she's on my side, I got the vote, and yeah, she can't play in the POV, but ultimately it comes down to it, if you make it to the end, you don't want to be up against, like, a Cody and maybe even a Jessica now, because now she's kind of showing she's a comp beast.
Right.
In the final 3, I'd rather be up against, like, if I have to be one of them, and someone who can't really play.
I know we would, because we're smart players, but there are a lot of people that do that whole, we want competitors at the end thing. No, I'd want a person I can beat at the end.
You barely get 3 competitors at the end. You never do.
I
mean, maybe, okay, let's say you had Boogie. I mean, maybe sometimes you can get 3 good people, but if we get Cody, Alex, and, you know, Paul at the end of this game, that will be amazing. I mean, that will be the amazing finale, you know, that you could have, but I doubt that will happen. But maybe I'm wrong.
What do you think of Paul being back in the game? A lot of people aren't happy about it. A lot of people love Paul. So what do you think about Paul being back in the game?
So I love Paul, and I loved Paul last season. He's just fun. I mean, he's taken the whole friend, like, every time I hear the word friend or friendship, I think of Paul. And that is, you know, kind of something special. I mean, he's really kind of, you know, coined his personality in the Big Brother world.
Right.
And I will say, people will say Paul should have won last season. No, Nicole, whoever won last season should have won last season. So I think Nicole played a great game too. And she was a vet and she won first HOH and they weren't smart enough to take her out. So hey, she made it all the way to the end. God bless her. My thing about Paul, I think, is I love that they've twisted this game. I hope that they bring another vet in. I hope that there's some other
really?
Temptation where something else is unleashed and you see someone else come in, like, a Frankie Grande or, anybody. Just, I would love to see them send someone else back in and send some vets in just to shake it up a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe he's not the only vet that's going to come back in. Let's not assume that's the case. Some people might think that's the case. I actually think it's interesting. I know there are a lot of people, and I know Andy feels strongly, because I just went to lunch with Andy, that, you should just have newbies. But again, it's Big Brother. I mean, maybe he won't be the only vet that goes in the game. I hope more vets.
So you're telling me, Helen, you would be fine if right now on week 4 they interject a vet into the house who has not had to play for the last 4 weeks?
I totally would, because it's Big Brother and the game is not fair.
Okay.
It's like a game of everything can be stacked against you and you still have to figure out a way to play it. Bring Frank back in the game. Gosh, let him start him against Cody and comps. I'd love to see that.
I'm going to have to talk to you about Cody when this show's over.
I gotta say, I know people are not huge Cody fans or whatever, but I give anyone credit, including Victor from last season, who can battle back. That's intense. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you want to be back in the house, but do you really want to come back into that environment and put yourself back in there? Once you're out, you're kind of like, okay, I'm moving on. Stress is kind of going away. To go back in, it takes a lot of heart, and I don't, just like when Jed went back in our season. You go back with nobody wanting to be your friend, no wanting to help you. You're going with every chit against you, and, God bless them to go back in. I was never lucky enough, but I can only imagine it's not just stressful, but it's like a heart attack waiting to happen.
It's, this is the spoiler show, so everyone, there's going to be spoilers. So for those of you that do not know, Cody's sitting in a pretty good place. So is Jessica, because, like we saw last night, Cody is back in the house. And now, spoiler alert, Jessica is HOH. She is
And that's why I love Big Brother. Of course she's HOH, because they could have taken her out, but they took Dominique out instead. And now they're all sitting there like, I hope they realize, okay, Paul told us to take Dominique out, and I get Jessica lost her showmance, but, we know that there was battle back before. You've got to assume it could come back, and that the worst case scenario for them would be for Jessica and Cody to be back together again. This is the time for her to get all the power back. And she's got the hex and everything else, but literally, people now are afraid of Cody. They're like, oh my gosh, he's coming after me. This is the time for Jessica and Cody to make deals with the people who think they're coming after them, to get them to figure out how to work together and go after people that, really should, are good players too, that are never going to help them.
Well, late breaking news, Helen. You know what else Jess has? The POV. She won the POV moments ago.
And this is Big Brother, because right when you're down and out, and this happened to me in my season, Alyssa and I were down and out. People were like, you're out. And when I won the one comp I won, the one HOH, it could not have come at a better timing. It flipped the house completely. That's again, this season reminds me so much of BB15. They're flipping the house. Now what Jessica needs to do is use it in a smart way. When I remember looking back, someone said to me, one of the producers, why did you evict Jeremy? You should have instead maybe thought about keeping Jeremy and the two of you secretly working together, because you could have run the house between the two of you and the two sides. at the time, I was like so mad at Jeremy. I couldn't see the game and the strategy of working with my own worst enemy. I hope Jessica and Cody right now look at this opportunity and go, you know, maybe taking Paul out is not, maybe I'll act like I'm going to take Paul out, but really, Paul and I are going to become best friends, and no one's going to know that.
Well, oh, I always love when the enemies work together and they do it secretly. For those of you on watching on You Now, here's your little cheat sheet. So Jessica has one HOH and POV. She nominated Josh and Ramses, but clearly there's gotta be a backdoor plan. We hear it could be for Mark. We hear it could be for Paul. The feeds haven't even been back on a full day yet. So we don't really know what her plans are at the moment to do. But I just feel like Josh and Ramses as a choice.
So, you know, I haven't watched the feeds and I don't know what's happening, as you guys know, for the last 24 hours. But let's hope that Jessica is making with Cody some deals. Like Paul right now is sitting here like, oh my gosh, this sucks. They're back in the house. They're both coming after me. This is the time he's going to lose his, you know, power of protection. This is the time for them to go to him and say, okay, people are going to want you out now. Like, your power of protection's over. People know that we're gunning for you. Like, let's flip this. You know, let's still act like we're gunning for you, but we've missed our target, you know, and start gunning for the three of us. Let's start gunning for other people without them realizing we're purposely trying to miss our target and we're getting other people out of the house.
I know. That's the game that I love to see being.
And now people don't want Paul in the house, but right now, unfortunately, there's no better player in the house besides Paul. So he's the one that everyone's been taking direction from. So, you know, everyone in the house thinks, oh, they're going to go out. They're gunning for Paul. Josh is another person for Jessica and Cody to be like, I know. Jessica's got to realize, like, she wants to take Josh out. Josh is not.
Yes, she does.
But Josh is not a competitor like Cody and Jessica. He's not a real threat in the game, like in the sense of, again, not self-aware, isn't going to be able to strategize and work the house like a Cody or Jessica might be able to do. I mean, Jessica knew, like, after Cody left, like, I got to lie low. I got to, like, kind of suck it up, and I got to go talk to Raven and other people and pretend, you know, like, I've learned my lesson. I need to be back in your good graces. Like, Josh, like, he would hold a grudge and not be able to do that. You know,
right.
Knowing that you need that in the game. So I know Jessica might try to go after him. I mean, going after Ramsey, come on. You know, like, she should work with a couple of them because let's call it what it is. Like, Josh really doesn't have any true alliances. Josh could probably open up to you everything he knows in the house if you work right. You know, he's like one drink away from telling you all the secrets in the house he knows. Like, why not keep him in? You know, for that reason.
Right. Oh, I completely agree. I wanna take a question from Twitter because I have a feeling you might end up saying this just in answering questions, so I want to throw this in now. Wesley Lester 23 wants to know, if you were thrown into the current house for just 1 week with no repercussions, which is what we know you now want to happen, whose game would you hurt and whose would you help?
Oh boy, that's a good one. So, let me think.
I swear to God, if you say Cody.
No, I would not. No, it's not that I wouldn't help Cody. Like, I am kind of just rooting for Cody and Jessica for the drama.
Right, no, me too. I'm rooting for the drama, true.
Whose game would I help? I mean, I gotta go with my fellow Asian sister, you know, Alex.
Uh-huh.
Obviously is a comp beast. She's smart and strategic. And I just, you know, I look at her and I think, gosh, you know, that's like how I would have liked to have played. Except I would have probably made that deal with Cody. Lying on the ground, doing my yoga exercise, I probably would have made that deal. But, again, I'm not in the house, and you make a lot of mistakes in the house. I think she should have made that deal. Whose game would I hurt? That's a good question.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no one I would say I dislike. Like, whose game would I blow up?
Sure. Well, let's say you had to nominate someone. And they said, Helen, you come into the house, you have to, right now, you have to put someone on the block. Who are you putting on the block?
Well, if I wanted to stay in the game, I would put people who people want to see out. So
no, you're not staying.
But I'm not staying, so
nope.
I can literally blow it up.
Yeah.
I guess gosh, that's a... Hold on.
Do you want the cheat sheet?
Can I... No. Can I think about it?
Yes. Okay, well, we'll come...
Maybe I would put Paul up, but I'm thinking, who would I put Paul up against? That I don't know. So that I gotta think about that.
I think I would put Paul up against, I don't know, maybe Jessica. No, I wouldn't, because I'd still want the drama.
I would love to see what the game would be like without Paul. Like, take
Me
Paul
too.
away, and then, like, what would Raven be like in the game? What would Mark be like in the game? What would Jason? I mean, Jason, we're kind of seeing a little bit, but like, what would some of them do without him? That is what I would love to see that game.
So you want to see a game without Paul, but you also want to see the game where they interject a vet.
No. Well, I mean, if you're gonna have vets, why not have more? Why pick just one?
Well, now that's true, and obviously a question that we're getting a ton for you. I'm just going to take it from Carrie J. Speaking of vets playing again, would you ever go back for an all-star season if you were asked?
Probably not.
Probably not. I always say...
No, I actually don't think I would. And part of that is my life is changed a lot since I was last in the house. I mean, when I was in the house before, I had, a job and husband and 2 kids. Now I have a job, husband, and 4 kids. And also my dad passed away, as you guys know, a couple of years ago. And I also, oversee and help my mom. And so for me to go away right now would be, there too many people depend on me.
Right.
Any given day, that it would be really tough for me. It wouldn't be the fact that I wouldn't want to play. It would just be more of, too many people depend on me. And plus, I could not play knowing I'd have to leave work for 3 months.
Right.
Like, leaving work for 3 months would not happen. So
host a comp.
No.
Host a comp. Helen, hello, it's me, Julie Chen.
Yeah, I'd fly out there, host a comp, no problem. I could not leave my family and my life and my work for 3 months. I have other things that I have responsibilities have changed since then. So.
Oh, I totally hear you. I see a lot of people in the chat room also asking. I want to take it from Mano AB. What are your thoughts on Megan leaving the game in the beginning? We saw Megan having to leave. She's been on the show and talked about, how and why she left. But the chat room wants to know what your thoughts are on it.
So for me, and Megan, don't hate me for saying this, I can't imagine voluntarily leaving the game. I mean, I think, but again, we're all different people and we can only all handle so much. And I'm not saying that you particularly couldn't handle the Big Brother house, but you know what's best for you. And I can't be the judge of that. And so for me, I don't think I could leave the game. Just again, Christmas broke a foot. Like, I would be like Christmas. I would still stay in the game even if you evicted me the next week. I'm going to see it out to the end, no matter what the end looks like.
Right.
But again, I'm not Megan. I don't know all that's in Megan. One thing I've learned about Big Brother is the players. There's a lot of layers to all of us, just like there's a lot of layers to all of you fans out there. And you don't know all of us like you think you know us. You think you know us really well. There's way more to us than you know. And so, I don't know everything about Megan to know, her decision making on that. And I'm not going to judge that because, again, she's lived a different life than I have. I would not leave the game. But again, her life is different than mine, and maybe she's experienced something in her life where she's like, I'm out. I've been here, done that. I can see what this could look like, and I'm out, and I'm not going to be the judge of her game.
I will say, you guys can head over to yourrealityrecaps.com/bb19. She talks all about the reasons why she left the game and everything on the show that we did with her. So you can hear all of it in depth over there. Okay, so who would you pick to win? Like, if right now, in this point in the game, who do you think will win? Or Well, you kind of already said your top
Kevin
3.
makes it to the end. He's on nobody's radar.
Kevin, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin makes it to the end. No one's radar. I think people think he's just happy-go-lucky. They love his stories, and yeah, I love his stories too. Like, you know, and that he's like a dad of 7 kids. I love the fact that he's got like all these tattoos. He's just this unexpected guy. I love the fact that he took the $25,000 in the first comp, and no one's even thinking about it. I think he's someone who he's probably a lot better at comps and he's coming out.
Yes,
and
definitely.
He's not at Target, and so he can just kind of hang out in the house and let everyone else fight each other. And I think he's someone who can make it very far in the game. And I think there will be people in the game who have enough animosity for other people that they would want to vote for someone they like.
Oh,
because this house has so much hatred and animosity right now.
You think? All right. You think. Okay. I want to take another question from Twitter. It's from Lost and Concruised, who wants to know, Helen, who are your top 3 best or worst players that you feel have played since your season? So you can either say people that you think are the best that have played or the worst since you've played. So
I think Vanessa is like amazing.
Yes.
I mean, like that is like, bar none, the girl is amazing. And the fact that she was so out front, like she was like what Paul's doing this season, the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not only was she a compies, like I give her credit for that, but just I have so much mad respect for that girl. Like that girl, like I hope when they have I would love to see her come back into the house. If I was in the house and that girl came in, I'd be like so starstruck. I'd be like, give her the money. Like, she was so amazing her season. I don't think anybody has played as well as she has since my season. Or even, I mean, she just played an amazing game.
Have you talked to her at all? And
you know, so we follow each other on Twitter, and I reached, I wrote her a note, just congratulating her in game. But, as you know, when you come out of the house, you get a bajillion messages. So I have not talked to her, but hey, Vanessa, if you're out there and you ever want to chit-chat on the phone or meet up sometime, if you're ever in Chicago, come see me. I'm a huge fan, and you're a badass player. And she ran that game, and she made it entertaining. Like, I remember watching her going, that is how I wanted to play.
Right.
You know? And so that game resonated with me really well. And right away she had the twins telling her they were twins, and she used it right. She just like when Alyssa told me she was Rachel Riley's sister. I watched her game and think, God, she ran that house so well, and I haven't seen anyone run a house like that since.
Derek
was very good, but see, the difference between Derek and Vanessa was a one-woman show.
Right.
Derek, did have,
I agree with you.
There was a duo with Derek, but Derek was a great player too. Don't get me wrong.
But he had a lot of help. Well, I will say this to you. I talk to Vanessa all the time. I just talked to her the other day. I'll have her text you.
Okay, well, definitely do, because I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
I would love to see her back in the house. Derek, I will say about him, his game was sleuth.
Right.
But very sleuth. The Hitmen, they did a great job their season. They ran the house. I think the difference for me was just because I love to see strong female players.
Me too.
I think a lot of Big Brother, people think of Dr. Will, they think of Boogie, they think of Ian. Yes, people think of Rachel Riley and Janelle, and it's great to see someone recently where a Vanessa, while she hasn't won, I think, Janelle hasn't won either, but I think Janelle and Vanessa are perfect examples of super amazing, strong players who, if I could be half of them in the game, maybe I would have gotten farther.
And I would say Christmas this season is the same. She has a great social game.
Great social game. And Christmas, she's got her head on right.
Right.
You look at Christmas and I would be friends in normal life.
Mm-hmm.
She's got her head on right. She's self-aware. I think she also knows her limitations.
Right.
I do feel bad for her that she's got much more of, it's not just like something that'll like heal in 4 weeks and she'll be good to go. And I hope for her that not only does she heal fast, but it doesn't hinder all the things that she does since she's such an athletic person.
Right. I hope it doesn't either, because that is horrible. I want to BB Watcher 17 over on Twitter wants to know. We'll throw it back to your cast for 1 second. Helen, who do you still talk to from your cast? And I already asked the second part of her question, who do you want to win? But who do you still talk to from your cast? Obviously, Andy.
So I ran into Andy, like literally I was just thinking of Andy. I moved out to the suburbs of Chicago, and I used to live in Lincoln Park when I was on the show, and Andy and I lived like just blocks from each other. So it's kind of crazy that we both were in the Big Brother house, and we literally lived blocks away from each other.
Right.
But I was literally coming off the Fullerton exit off Lakeshore Drive, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm coming downtown around lunchtime. I should have asked Andy to go to lunch. And I'm like driving, and I see this guy in a t-shirt with tacos on it, and I'm like, that's Andy. I literally had just thought of him, and we were able to go to lunch, and it was wonderful. I mean, when my life is so busy, I can barely talk to anybody. So it was great to catch up with him, and great to see he's doing well, and so forth. I think the person I talk to the most is probably Candace.
Oh.
She had a baby, as you guys know, beautiful Kingston, and so now she's part of the mom squad. Which we love, and her and I just jive. We're very we're good friends, and we have kind of same goals in life, and we have the same values, and so I became much better friends with her outside the house.
Right.
I mean, and it's just what it is. I think in the house she was always with Howard, so I didn't get to know her as well. And maybe she regrets that now. Who knows? It would have been more fun to hang out with me, right? Candace in the house than Howard.
I'm sure Candace thinks that now. Amanda's getting married real soon.
Married. Andy told me he went to her bachelorette party. I have not talked to Amanda, but it's not because I wouldn't talk to Amanda. I think we just...
You're both very busy women to nail down.
Yeah, and I follow her, and I see that she's getting married, and she does so well at work, and I'm really happy to see that her life is, blossoming, and that it's nice to see her married. I can't wait to see her become a mom one day if she decides to go that route. I'm sure she'll be a great mom, and I'm just really happy for her that she found someone that she seems really happy with. So
I cannot imagine. I mean, I can't wait for a little Amanda baby one day. There's going to be a Big Brother children's season. There's a lot of you that have kids. It's going to happen.
I would love to see Amanda play again. I think
no, your kids.
Well, yeah, the kids too, but I would love to see her play. I hope they give her an opportunity to play. She's great TV, and she's witty and smart, and I think she's probably learned a lot too from when we were on Big Brother, and I would love to see what kind of game she played the second time around. I know people say you always end up still playing the same game. I don't know, maybe Amanda would surprise us and play a different game, and she's a smart cookie. I would love to watch her play again.
She is smart, and I think her, Vanessa are definitely people I want to see play again. But speaking of playing again, Maximus' mom wants to know, Helen, if you could play on any BB season, which one would you play on and why? So you don't even have to. If you had a time machine, you could go be a part of any other season. Is there a season you would love to be on?
Gosh.
I kind of feel like I know your answer.
Maybe season 10?
I thought you were going to say Vanessa's season.
Well, I mean, I'll lose to Ian Giesling, but I would love to, I think that season had a lot of good players. Just saying.
Okay.
They had a lot of fun people. I mean, like Matt Hoffman and
Love Matt.
Annie, and I don't know. I think that had
Wait,
a
that
lot
was
of
10?
cast of characters.
That was 12.
Was Matt 12? Okay, so... Oh, yeah. So
Matt was 12. I agree. 12 was my favorite season.
12 would be a great season, too. 10 and 12.
Okay, 12 is my favorite season, and a lot of people hate 12, but I love 12.
Great season.
Brittany, the best. 12 I think was one of the...
Very entertaining season.
I see a few people saying that they came in late, and don't worry, you can watch the show back. It'll be on the website tomorrow morning since it's a late show. And we already talked about Helen is pushed. Some late people are like, talk about Helen's pushed. We already did. We already did. So, what do you think? Danielle P330 in the chat room wants to know, what do you think about people saying that they want Raven to win more than themselves? Like, there are people in the house right now who feel that because of Raven's illness, because she is telling them she doesn't have a lot of life left, they want to give their game so that she can win. What Daniel P wants to know, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a really good, interesting question. I mean, I get there probably folks on the show that are not huge super fans who, you know, maybe like, hey, let's give it to Raven. She seems deserving. I say give it to Raven if she plays an amazing game.
Right.
You know, see like what happens. I think at this point she's been able to lay low, which doesn't mean that she's not playing a great game.
Right.
You know, I think to give it to her just because she has this issue, health issue, is not a reason to give it to her. You know, I mean, it's just like of course it's a challenging health issue, and it's wonderful that she's been able to raise awareness of it on the show, but I don't think you give it to someone just because they're dealing with a health issue. All of us have things that we deal with in our lives, whether it's disease or something else in our lives. And so if you're just going to give it to someone because they have some issue, then that's not Big Brother. Big Brother is about giving the game to someone who plays an amazing game, however they get to the end. Now, you can use something like that to get people to go, well, I don't really want to go after Raven. She's had a tough life. And, you know, you can definitely use that to your advantage, I guess, in the game. But I don't think you give it to someone just because of that. So for those folks who are saying, like, let's give it to Raven, then give it to Raven, because you obviously don't deserve to win. I mean, you know, it's one of those things, like, it's great that you want to help Raven, and maybe you can help Raven. Like, come out and, you know, help her raise awareness, you know, help her raise money to raise awareness for the condition that she has. But if you're just going to give her the game because she has an issue, I'll be honest with you, like in my season, I've gotten to know a lot of the house guests. We all have come from various walks of life and have all come from our own challenges. We could probably all say we deserve it for some reason in our lives. Ultimately, that's not what we're there for in Big Brother, I think. So.
It's game. You're there to vote on who played the best game. I don't think that they should get it based on a personal issue. Okay, so first of all, I can't even believe how much time has already gone by, and we don't have a lot of time left. So I want to go back to spoilers for 1 second, because like we said, Jess won HOH and she nominated Ramses and Josh. Now, in your opinion, Helen, was that the best move for her? Like, do you feel there are other people she should have nominated?
Only if she had gone to Josh and said, we're going to work together now. If she did not and she's just nominating Josh because she doesn't like Josh, that's going to come back to bite her. So, you know, Ramses, like, he's someone too. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say he's not going to win comps. I think people will feel like he is someone easily they can put up and he's not going to retaliate against them. But I think with Josh, she should be really careful with that. I mean, of course, like, why not make the big move? And maybe she's planning on backdooring Paul. Again, this is like my season. Don't backdoor Paul. Like, you got to figure out a way to make Josh and Paul your best friends and go after everyone else. And then you guys can play it out at the end. Like, if she goes after Paul and backdoors Paul, again, her and Cody then are the biggest targets in the house.
Josh, she says right now that Josh is her target. She wants Josh out. She admits, like I heard her on the live feeds, admit that there are bigger targets in the house, but then says she needs to get Josh out to make it happen. However,
Josh wants so many people out of the house. Jessica, you could easily sweet talk that boy, and he will not target you. Like, someone, like, Cody needs to tell her that.
Well, we'll see. But see, here's the thing. When we missed so much, we missed 2 days of feeds. We missed her winning HOH and after noms. We don't know at all what their thought process was.
So it's really important. So you guys know that I had HOH-itis. Because when you're that down and out and you finally win HOH, it's like, the sky's opened up and it's hard not for it to get to your head. For Jessica, like, I hope she thinks back and thinks about BB15, because BB15 is so much like BB19, and thinks, okay, let's think about this. Like, the move that most people think I would make would be like, let's get out Josh, let's get out Paul. I'm going to shake it up and I'm going to do something different. So I know probably the fans are probably out there like, oh my God, she should have nominated Paul and Alex. Only if she'd gone to them to try to make a deal and work with them and they said no, then go after them. But she should really try to think about maybe teaming up with them, because it's obviously they're all the competitors. If Paul, Alex, Cody, and Jessica could get on the same page, and then Jason with the 5th, and make some deal and run that house without anyone realizing it, they will win the game. They'll be in the final 5 and then can figure it out from there.
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
And then what happens is you have 4 or 3 out of 4 that are newbies, and you have the one veteran, and the veteran's out because they'll vote against the veteran, against the newbies. And then it gets the newbies a little bit further in the game, unless Paul wins like every comp and does make that happen. But I think there's something to be said about if you could get enough newbies that are, strong newbies working together. Like, Jessica doesn't like Alex. I get that. Like,
yeah.
Just got to figure out, and this is something I couldn't do, and I wish I had done in my season, is work with the people that you can't stand the most in the house, and you'll make it far in the game.
But,
kind of the kicker.
I know. I think you have to find someone to fake like you hate each other with, because I think we've seen there really isn't a way for 2 people that don't like each other to work together in the game. I think you need to convince the rest of the house you don't like each other.
I mean, if I could have gone to Amanda and said, hey, Amanda, let's just call it what it is, okay? I tried to do that with Aaron. I should have done it with Amanda. Said, hey, like, you and I, we're not going to be best friends in this house. However, like, we can influence this set, and I can influence this set, and you can influence this set. Let's just, you and I, make that deal and not go after each other, but act like we're going to go after each other, but pretend like we are, but miss the target. Her and I think, could have made it to the end. Now, McCrae was obviously someone she was not going to, not be loyal to. And I wish, she could look back and think about the game and not think about McCrae during that time. Because maybe had McCrae not been around, it would have been an idea I would have probably brought to her. But at the time, it was one of those things.
You know who kind of did do that strategy? Andy.
Well, and ultimately what it probably would have come down to, had that worked out, it probably would have been like an Amanda. If, say, Amanda and I made that deal, it probably would have been Amanda, me, and McCrae, or an Amanda, me, and Andy at the end.
Right. I see Wesley in the chat room saying, and I agree, that's why the Paul and Alex working together under the radar is good. So if you don't know, they both kind of are working together, and they're both on opposite sides.
Yes, they are. But for Alex's sake, Paul is going to go out. If he makes it, amazing. But I think Paul will eventually go out. Alex needs to make sure that Jessica and Cody don't go after her or Jason. She needs to figure that out. And hopefully he comes back in the house and she realizes, okay, he put an olive branch to me and I need to just grab it and start over with him and secretly work with this man. And I think Cody and Alex could be amazing together.
Well, we will see. We have not had much... I mean, we didn't have any feeds after HOH or Noms, and without diary rooms, it's hard to really know what these people's thought processes are. And the reason I'm so confused, when the feeds did come back on, Josh, like, sat up in bed and was like, I'm loyal, and sometimes you have to be the pawn to be loyal. And so it almost made me feel like they told him he's the pawn, but he's really the target, maybe? It was very weird. I did not get what Josh was saying when the feeds...
happens all the time, right? No one ever tells you that the target.
True.
So, you know, I think for Josh, if he really thinks he's a pawn, a genuine pawn, again, not self-aware. Now, you know, the thing about Josh, I kind of don't want him to get evicted because he's just such good entertainment.
He is.
And as a viewer, and just like I'm a viewer just like all of you guys, like you want to keep in people like Josh and Cody and Jessica because they just make for great TV, you know. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that person needs to be out of the game. But I mean, ultimately, when it comes down to it, you know, if some of them went out of the house, it would be pretty boring. So.
Okay. Amy, and I see some people in the chat room telling me too, Josh was saying that because he knows he has the numbers and he's safe. He knows that his side of the house says they will keep him safe and he believes them. Okay. I was confused on that part. Thank you, everyone. All right, so going forward, Helen, Paul's immunity is over. Do you think Paul has what it takes to make it to the end? Or do you not see a way Paul is making it to the end of this game?
It really depends. I mean, the house itself relies so much on Paul that if they're going to take a shot at him, they got to take it now.
Right.
Because if they take it now, they're going to let that guy ride all the way very, very far. You know, and Paul is I mean, you can see he's come into the game and, you know, his experience is showing. I mean, he's basically running that house.
Right.
Ultimately, someone's got to say, and it's got to be someone like an Alex to go, you know, it was great to have him on my side, but I don't need him anymore. So I hope for her, someone like her, if you want a newbie to win,
right,
audience, she realizes she needs him now for his experience and his counsel, but at a certain point, she's not going to need him anymore. And is she going to be able to let him go? Or is she going to be too close to him that she'll take him all the way to the end? And then he's a tough guy to beat, you know? So, I don't know. You know, I mean, he have it? Yeah, he definitely has it to make it to the end. It just depends on how the other house gets react. Like, now is the time when this, you know, protection is over to take the shot. And if they don't take the shot now, he becomes more and more ingrained and then more and more reliant and more closer and friendship builds.
Right.
And it's going to be harder to take him out.
It is.
You know?
And
it's going to be hard to not give him the game. I mean, he's playing a great game. I know there are tons of people out there like booing me right now, but I mean, I'm sorry. I know he's had power of protection, but basically anyone he's wanted out of the house has been out of the house. He's been HOH for the last 3 weeks. So
I think I agree with you. You can't deny that he's not playing a great game because, protection or not, the whole house is literally willing to do whatever Paul wants every single week. And that's a testament to the social game.
If I was Paul at this point, I would say, okay, now, and I know he's kind of done this where he's like, I got to make it like their idea, even though it's my idea, make it think. But he really needs to convince these people like Alex, she's got the power in the house, or convince a Jessica that she's got the power in the house, like, and get some of that perception of the power off of him. Where, I mean, everyone voted him on that battle back comp. I mean, like, no, I don't want it 11 votes for me to go be the strongest player to play against someone I don't, want back in the house. Like, he needs to start losing a few competitions and let other people that are his allies get the power,
right,
so that he can kind of be like them.
I said that he should have, like, hugged Cody and said, like, I'm so sorry, I'm going to make it up to you right now and lose so you can get back in. Because then that way, if he lost, he can say, I told you ahead of time I was giving it to you. And if he won...
Yeah, but if he had done that, then 11 people would have been pissed at him, though.
No, like hug him. Like hug him and whisper it in his ear.
Yeah, but then people would be like, what you whisper in Cody's ear? And Cody would have called him out on that and be like, you guys voted this guy? This is the crap that this guy pulls. He just told me that he was going to give up this comp for me.
And I would be like, no, I didn't. I whispered friendship.
Maybe so, but I mean, good idea, but I don't think, I think Cody's going to use any ammunition to call that guy out.
Clearly he is. It does not seem like Jessica or Cody are big Paul or Mark fans since the feeds have been back on.
So I gotta say with Mark and Elena, they're so... Elena, does she remind you of Amanda?
Yes.
Not her gameplay, but like kind
Yes.
of the way she's like, kind of, her mannerisms
Yes.
remind me of Amanda.
Yep.
Okay, does Amanda know that? Because I gotta ask Amanda. Because I watch talk and I'm like, oh, her mannerisms remind me of her.
She's very Amanda, but I feel like every season they just kind of recast. Like you could say McCrae was then Ian in a sense, or Christine in a sense. Like that fit the McCrae character. I feel like every season.
Why do you think Christine and McCrae are an Ian McCrae? I would not. Ian. Okay, so Cameron is Ian.
Yes, he fits that character
and
type.
By the way, Cameron, if you're watching this, like, oh, you know, like, oh, gosh, 11 hours in the house, like...
And 30 in a hotel room.
No, way more than 30.
Yeah, way more than 30.
I spent weeks in a hotel room to spend 11 hours in the Big Brother. Cameron, I feel for you, and you did so well in those Battle Black costs. You should feel good about yourself, and... It is what it is, and you know, as a super fan, I can understand how you're feeling right now, and I just want you to know, like you tried your hardest in those comps, and God bless you. And just because you're the first one out in this season doesn't mean that you weren't going to be a good player. I think you were going to be a great player.
Let me ask you this hypothetically question. Not that it would even matter because you're so far away from your season. But let's say I was having an extended stay in a hotel room. How many orders of room service would I be allowed a day?
Not that many.
Like, could I get 3?
Well, you have 3 meals a day.
But would they let me order room service 3 times a day in this fictional world, which is not real?
There's no room service.
Okay, I get you. Like, I want Chipotle. Got it. Oh man, yeah, that might be good. You're telling me I just get
jury house, like, if the jury house is heaven. Like, for people, like, the jury house sucks in the sense you're out of the game and you're kind of stuck and you really want to go back to your life. But when you talk about pampering, they know how to pamper you in the jury house. It's a beautiful house that you live in. Of course, you live with people you don't like at the time.
Right.
But, you know, you literally are there to, like, de-stress, and they'll be like, you know, I painted a lot, as you guys know, and if I wanted to do anything else, they would have provided that. They do a great job to pamper you in the jury house. The jury house is a beautiful place to be. I mean, in the sense of, you'd rather be in the game, but if you're not in the game, it's
right.
a place to transition into real life, because I can't imagine going from game straight into real life. And so for those folks who, like Jillian, who now is going into real life without getting kind of time in between to just kind of decompress and understand what happened, even if you're only in the house for a short amount of time, doesn't matter. One day in that house can make you nuts, and so you need that transition time.
Well, Helen, here's what I want to say. In or out of the house, or in or out of the game, so many people love you, myself included.
Oh, I love you, Eric. You know, Eric, I don't do interviews. I'm doing this for you.
I appreciate it. And
John. And I hope you're in the chat room by now.
John texted me and said, tell Helen I love her. I'll tell you what else he said after, because he said don't read it on the show.
Okay.
But I want to thank you so much for coming on, Helen. You had hundreds and hundreds of people watching you live. And I know you don't believe that you have fans still, Helen, but you have a ton of fans still. And I want you to have the floor to say what you want to say to them.
I gotta say, if you guys love the show, try out for it. I mean, like, literally anyone can make the show. If I can make the show, you can make the show. And I'm not just saying that. And I think if you talk to a couple of us, like talk to Andy and Spencer, at least like from my season, I mean, if you are a big fan of the show, try out for it. Like Cameron, obviously, from this season was a big fan of the show, and he obviously isn't like looking to be a movie star like me or Andy or Spencer were, and he tried out and he made it. You know, if you love the show, try out for it, because then once you're on the show, your perspective of how people play it and how people act will be like, I watch the show very differently now than I did before. And I'm just saying, you know, it's easy to judge, but you know, try out for the show and make the show, and then you'll see what it's really kind of like.
And I will say on the flip side of that, if you love your family, don't do the show. You had it good. You had it good.
Like today, my real life, you know, and I would say this goes for like my personal life and my professional life. Most people don't watch Big Brother. Right. But every blue moon, like someone will be like, "Oh my gosh, you're Helen from Big Brother," you know. I mean, and so in my everyday life, you know, it doesn't come up often. I will say for my family, like my husband, you know, obviously it's hard for him to read when people are like, STFU Helen. You know, do you remember that?
You don't want to embrace that, Helen. You need to embrace that hashtag.
Well, I mean, but I'm talking about my family.
No, well, right, your family. No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's hard on families.
Well, I read stuff online, and you know me, Eric, like, I'm like, whatever.
Right.
You know? But your family they take it even more personally than you do.
Right.
So, you know, for all of you guys who like tweet at the families and tweet at the brothers and the sisters and bash them or whatever, like, seriously, they did not choose this life.
Right.
We chose the life. Like, you could send it to me, but don't send it to the families. Like, they're there to support their loved one,
right,
and whatever the loved one pursues. And when I see the stuff that go to the families, that makes me angry.
So be nice to families is Helen's message.
Yeah, be nice to the families. Like, again, you know, like they're supporting their loved one, and you watch the show, you're a fan of the show, like the negativity online, we know, like we see it. All of us players, I get all types of stuff on my feed, and you know, you're not getting to me, but you get to my family, you know, and don't do that. Stop that. That's not for me, but it's for all the other people out there that are coming out of the house or newly out of the house.
Right.
Be nice to us. We're here for your entertainment. We're not here to like hurt you, you know.
And I say to use the mute feature on Twitter. I don't have time for haters and people. I just like mute them or block them. Mute them or block them. I don't
block people. I don't really know if I've blocked anybody. Really, maybe I have blocked a couple of people. Like the first year I came up, but I haven't blocked people. I still read it, and now I just kind of laugh at the ridiculousness. Because it's kind of funny more than... Of
course it's funny.
It's like not even... I can't even take it seriously. You know?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, for the folks who are out there who just spend their lives to be negative on Twitter and Facebook, like, go outside and, like, go for a run. Or go get coffee with a friend. Like, there's so many other things to do in life.
Yeah, I don't understand people that, like, create multiple accounts to, like, be nasty. I mean, I'm like, you're a fan.
Yeah.
That's a fan. You're a fan.
Before we hang up, can we talk about Big Brother Canada for a second?
Yeah.
Why did they even want to take that off the air? Like what were they thinking?
Well, do you know Kevin Martin?
Mm-hmm.
He's the devil, so he ruined the show.
Why?
Because he's the devil, and the devil ruins the show. No. I heard that it was financial reasons, like the production the financial end of production couldn't get what they wanted from the network to do the show in the way they wanted to do it. So the network dropped the show. But then, based on all of the fans that came out and said, we want the show back, the network said, oh shit, and then I would guess gave the money that the production team was looking for.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. Either way, it is back.
Because, you know, when I was trying out for Big Brother Canada 1 was happening.
Uh-huh.
And I was in the hotel room watching Jillian and Emmett, you know, and Peter and Liza and all those awesome, awesome people. And I'm a huge fan of Canada. And, like, when I heard about that, I was like, oh, my gosh. Like, because the summer is not enough, right? I mean...
What about OTT? Did you watch OTT?
No, I'm halfway through this season. I haven't finished the second half. I watch it when I'm on work travel. So, like, I'll put on an episode and get through it. So I haven't gotten through... I mean, obviously, I know the winner, but...
Right.
I gotta say, I love how they tried to do it all online, you know? And, you know, the more Big Brother, the more fun, the better. And I'm really glad to see that the fans out there got Big Brother 6 out there. So, like, I hope for all the U.S. fans, if for some reason something ever happens to Big Brother, you guys are going to step it up and keep this thing going for as long as it possibly can.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine CBS canceling our Big Brother. I mean, I think it's one of their top money makers, and one could argue it doesn't cost a lot of money to put on. So I can't see it going anywhere anytime soon, but...
So they never think about ever, you know, it's never even an option that's on the table, right?
Right. Well, they're not going to pay to produce a regular show. It is way cheaper to make Big Brother than a regular show, and during the summer. So I
hope they do All-Star soon, because like next season's 20. It's a nice round number. But again, Big Brother expects everyone to think 20 is going to be the season because it's 20, and so they'll do it at 23 or 27 or something. And I think I read somewhere Allison Rodner said she was waiting for we're building our All-Stars now.
Right.
I think there have been enough seasons since season 7 to be able to pick from a really great list of people. So,
well, I will say that,
please, Allison, next year it'd be great to watch.
It would. We would all love it. I would hope. Karen, again, who's in the chat room, who is second place of Big Brother Canada this season, says that it was the fans that saved the show, and thank you to the fans. I will say Julie Chen and Les Moonves did say they don't ever want a full all-star season again. They like they like mixing the casts, is the latest thing that I heard them say in some interview, that they like a mixed
cast. They're the boss, so I guess.
Yeah, well, they're the boss. So.
And I think for all the energy to get Big Brother Canada 6, can we, as an energy, say 20 is a great time to do it?
Yes, let's do it.
I mean, I don't know. I think I would love to see some returning players play again, and I really hope they don't skip over BB15, even though I would never play again. But I think there are some people who played great games my season who would be great to watch again. It
does seem like they skip your season every time.
They really don't bring anyone back from our season. They don't ever mention our season. I try not to take that personally. No, it's like we never happened.
Thanks, Aaron. So, and, well, actually, you know, there's all the gifts that say, hey, BB19, or a thank you card from BB15 to BB19. You've missed some stuff.
You know, like, I really hope, I know there was a lot of controversy my season. I think something to know, and this is for all of you guys out there, you know, there were a lot of folks who learned a lot that season.
Right.
You know, and I think, you know, everyone grows up, and we all make mistakes, and you got to give people sometimes the benefit of the doubt. And I think I said this even 3 years ago, but I can say 3 years out even. I mean, everyone has learned, everyone's grown up, and I think that you should not hold that against BB15. You should let some of these players come back and play in a returning season, and don't forget about us.
There's only 2 people I want back, and it's you and Amanda.
And I know they would put Amanda and I both back in the house.
I kind of want Gina Marie back, too.
Well, I don't know if they'd put Gina Marie back in the house.
I'm not sure either, but I'd still like to see it, especially with other people.
Well, and I think Gina Marie, too. Again, like I said, I think she's learned a lot. And Gina Marie is Gina Marie, and she's the most crazily the most authentic person I know in real life. Like, she is who she is, and she doesn't fake it. And I have a lot of respect for someone who just doesn't fake it.
Right.
A lot of people fake it, and who you think they are not who they are.
Exactly.
Just
and I know what you're saying. So, let us wrap up this show. Helen, again, thank you so much for taking time to come and talk to your fans. You had so many people when they thought we were ending a few minutes ago saying, we love you, 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 Helen. Well, Helen, before we wrap up the show, let me just remind everyone really quickly, you can see all of our content back over at yourrealityrecaps.com/bb19. If you guys want 24/7 live feed updates over on Twitter, that's at @bb19 live feed. Of course, flashback times are located at yourrealityrecaps.com/bb19 flashbacks. Subscribe and become a fan over on YouNow. It's completely free to become a fan. yourrealityrecaps.com/YouNow. You will get alerted every time we go live. But again, the best thing you could do to help support our shows is to become a patron at yourrealityrecaps.com/patron. You get access to the patron-only shows every single week, prize giveaways for patrons, access to the patron-only Facebook group, and the special after shows, which are not public or anywhere else but in the patron group this season of BB19. Or you could always do a one-time donation at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal. We really, really appreciate all the support that you guys give us.
Thanks to all of you guys who actually watch this, because I'm even shocked that anyone's even watching this besides just me and Eric hanging out and having some wine. And Karen from BB5, awesome, and your mom. So let's hang out sometime. And thanks everyone for taking the time out.
Here's how much people didn't like it. In the last hour and a half, you had 44,874 likes. So that's how much people didn't like it, Karen. Helen. You both ended in. But okay, and Karen in the chat room says, love you too anytime, Helen. All right, you two go get a room. We have to end the show. I will see you guys all later. You guys enjoy the feeds. Don't forget to subscribe here in YouNow and on YouTube if you guys are watching this back, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.